Heaven is celebrating. They're celebrating everything that you've gone through. They're celebrating that you passed the trials, the storms of trials of the many weeks prior. They're celebrating. They're adorning you. That you've made it, that you've kept your faith, that you remained in spirit true. And now the gates of the earth are open to your specific signature of acceptance. You are being accepted. The time is now for you. You have been chosen, for you have the soul's signature of a chosen one. For such a time as this, now that door of the earth is open for your specific soul's signature. And now you are being accepted, for your time has come. The time of exaltation, the time of your light has come. For his light to be reflected in you, because that is what this earth needs to help to bring in the new earth. Your specific light, your soul's signature was needed and is needed right now. And they're saying congratulations for holding out, for holding firm, for holding fast. During these past few weeks and months, over many bombardments of trials, of tests, of storms, of fires, of whirlwinds, of the floods, so much refinement of the soul. And there's a reason why that refinement was needed. It felt like a crushing at times. It felt like that, definitely that going through the fire, that burning, that chafing away, that sizzling away, and that drowning state. We're going to talk about why did we go through so many questions of why. We're going to answer why. Why did we have to go through all of this? Thank you for joining me. My name is Eulalia Lejoswava, and welcome to the channel, The Divine Truth. Please subscribe if you haven't already. If you appreciate this content, if you can give, please give in the PayPal link below. I would really appreciate that. So today we're talking about specifically to you, to the chosen ones, but those, it's not just the chosen ones as some may refer to them, it's those that have chosen God, those that have also chosen the path. For those are also the chosen ones. If you've chosen him, if you've chosen the way of life, if you've chosen the tree of life, not the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, if you've chosen the truth, to walk in the truth and hold fast to that truth and not bend, then he's chosen you and you're part of that collective. You're part of that assembly. Hallelujah. So why is it that the chosen ones have been left out all their lives? Why have they been put off to the side? Why have they been made to feel this way? Why couldn't anyone understand them? And why did they get rejected over and over again? It has nothing to do with your actions. It has nothing to do with what you said, or maybe you could have said it differently or better, has nothing to do with that. It's your soul's signature emanation. It's the calibration of your soul. It's that frequency, that your soul signature that it gives off. Because it carried truth, the truth in it. And it went against everything that the matrix, that the lawlessness, that the world of lawlessness wanted to keep. But it wasn't your time. What were you doing throughout all the time so you can get to this time? You were being prepared. You were being matured. You were being snipped. You were being refined. So that, yes, it was your time to come and be here at this time in this generation, to be a witness of and a very important instrument in what is about to take place, which is massively, massively exciting that you are here and a part of this. But it wasn't just for the time that you were hidden, all those things were happening. It was so you can get to this specific time when the earth would open its gates so that the frequency that you are of your soul signature would match the gates that are open right now, that have opened. You see, those gates have a signature to themselves. They have a frequency of light in themselves. And now your specific soul signature matches that of this gate of light that has opened. That means that there is an acceptance right now. There is a huge acceptance of you. Where there was rejection from all your past, where there was, being counted out, where the world ostracized you, everything that it tried to do, because you were the friction against its format, its programming of that matrix. You were the friction against them, against the whole program. So you had to be put on hold. But in that hold, God was forming you. God was building you to get to this time right now, so that now the earth is ready for you. Now the earth is accepting of your specific frequency. That's what is written when it says, you have come for such a time as this. You were born into such a time as this, when the earth would be ready for a soul that carries a specific signature like you do. Your specific soul's signature, vibration, frequency that it gives off. And now the people that had pushed you aside are going to look to you. Because the new earth age, that gate has opened in the earth and is accepting. Now it needs people like you. It needs the mature, the aged in soul. People like you to look up to, because now those people, they're looking. They're looking to you. That new signature of light and of the new earth age is here. That's why it is your time to shine now. That's why in heaven, you are being exalted. You are being clapped. You are being congratulated. Congratulations. The storms that you had to go through just now, we just thought that it ended, but then another storm came. Storm after storm, pressing after pressing of that oil, of that anointing for you to come out and shine. For that polishing of your heart so you can be a reflection of the light. The world hadn't shifted yet in its frequency to be able to accept your frequency. But the earth opened up those gates that align with your soul signature. And that means that where you were once left out, now the earth, that is the Father, the Creator, the earth, or you could say Father, Mother, whatever, the earth is accepting ones like those that have the same frequency as it has. Because that new earth is so heavy upon this earth right now. It's that overlappingness. It is very thick. It is like the thick fog upon our earth right now. And it now, for such a time as this, you are here, you are accepted, and heaven is saying, you now have permission. Where you thought you had to dim your light, where you knew you had to dumb yourself down of your authenticity, of your individuality, of your uniqueness, where you thought you had to dim yourself down because you felt that it was not time. You felt that you couldn't be accepted in your totality, in your wholeness. Remember, we talked about perfection. In your wholeness, in your coming togetherness. To be who you really are. To come forth out of who you really are. That remembrance. Coming up in the remembrance, in the authenticity. And heaven is saying, you have permission now to be radically authentic. Because if you can feel it, that is open right now. It's a joy and it's a celebration within. Be radically authentic because the earth is saying it is time for you to shine. Heaven is exalting you. They're adorning you. It's your base signature, what you were born with, as that wheat, not the tare, as the wheat, that genuine, stable signature of your soul, the frequency of your soul that you were born with, for you to be seen, for you to be accepted, for you to be respected in your authenticity. Heaven is saying you have permission to be radically authentic. It is time for you to shine. It is time for you. Your energy signature is here for such a time as when the earth would shift, that door would open, and the world would be looking and needing someone like you to look up to know how to be mature. Because the inner path, that aged soul, was about coming into maturity and making you ready. And all the storms that had been going on for the past few weeks and months was to make you ready. All the strippings, all the fires, all the scorchings was for that soul to be refined, for the heart to be polished, for those remnants of impurities to be washed away by the waters, by the lights, and by the fires, so that you could at this time. The reason this is so exciting, the reason why this all happened and what is going to happen now is for the light, for you to be a vessel of, an instrument of, a sound of, a frequency of, and a reflection of the light. So you can help to bring in the light. So you can be a part of that. That is the time that you have come to. That was why you had to go through all the trials and tribulations and sufferings in life and being put down and being cast off to the side. All of those things so you can now, because it's worth it. Because it's a great honor, it's a great privilege in heaven to be a part of that. That's why they try to take your life. That's why they try to bring you down and shut out your confidence, shut out the remembrance of who you are. Because the world always wanted to stay on top. They wanted to keep their false illusions and play in their fake games, and that was good enough for them. But that is not standing. The light is blasting, it is going forth, and you are going forth with that light. What is the world looking to you now for? How to be mature during this progression, how to be still during the chaos, how to not be running around, but as a spectator of and not being involved in the chaos, not being affected by or triggered by or influenced by the deconstruction of the old earth and the bringing in of the new righteousness on earth. Jesus was born at a specific time. The world didn't accept him. But he had to come at that time to break up the cycles and bringing a new age, a new cycle into the earth. You are also here at this time to help break up. Just you as your soul signature being here, you are that friction against the world. Just by you being around, it disturbs it, because the calibration that your soul gives off, your soul signature, it disturbs, it unbalances. That's why they don't want you around, because you disturb the programming of that matrix. And Jesus was born at that specific time, and it said that you would go through everything he went through. He was a sacrifice, that perfect sacrifice upon the cross. You are also, if you accept the mission, and I suspect you did, because you wouldn't be here at this time. There's more to say about that, but let me leave that for now. You accepted that mission to also be a sacrifice, a living. It says now you are a living sacrifice, a vessel, a temple, to do what? To hold the light. Hold the light. Heaven is saying, hold the light. Now that you've made it through the storms, hold the light. Just hold it. Just hold it. Just hold that light. All you gotta do is hold the light. Hold the light. If the enemy had known the plan of God. If the devil had known the plan of God during Jesus's time, of course, there's a reason why that plan wasn't brought out. You hold your light. Just hold your light. Those are the instructions. Hold your light. Be radically authentic. Step out in authenticity. Stop dimming your light. Embrace your light, because the earth, the Father, wisdom, has opened the door for you to encourage you. The door of acceptance, uppercase A, acceptance for you now. I know you've been rejected all your life and all this has been put on you from the world. They didn't accept you. But now God has opened up the gates of acceptance for you, because you are needed. Your light is needed. Your authentic purity is needed. Your soul signature, let it be bright. Let that authenticity be bright right now. Your calibration of your soul signature has to be very strong. No more dimming that light. It has to be very strong, because the gates in earth, those gates of light, have opened. It's like a stargate. That's what I'm just seeing. It looks like a stargate. It also looks like big wooden huge door gates. But now I'm seeing it also looks like a stargate, and it is light. That's why you have to be radically authentic. Don't dim your light anymore. You're gonna feel this. I mean, it's not just me telling you do this. You're gonna feel the truth of what I'm saying. You're gonna feel that, yes, I'm accepted. My light is accepted. I feel jive with that truth. Dance with that truth. Open up to that truth. Live in that truth. Be in that truth. Being. It's not about doing. It's about being. Hold the light. It's about be authentic in your light, in your uniqueness, in your weirdness, in whatever individualityness that you have that makes you special, that makes you an outer world person. Because you are not born of this world. You're born from above. You're born from the heavens. You're born out there from the cosmos. You're born from the Father. So carry that. It's the acceptance to be it. Come in line with that gate of light. Become the same, because that gate of light is like authentic light right now that has been opened in the earth. So allow that authentic part of your soul, the light of your soul. Don't put your light under the table. Don't dim your light. Don't put a lantern. Don't put anything over your light. Allow your light to shine, because it is accepted right now. For you were born for such a time as this, when the earth would open up its gates of light for you to now also come and be accepted. And everybody that was left with the world, either they're going to catch up or they're going to be left behind with the old earth and that old programming matrix. Those that don't want to be left behind, those that are accepting this new light in their hearts, they're going to be looking to people like you. God was keeping you for this time. That's what it meant, for such a time as this. Not for such a time as this, as in time, this generation. because it was not time yet. You were being hidden, you were being molded, you were being built, you were being torn down and rebuilt, torn down and rebuilt, so that you would always be stronger, so your foundation wouldn't have any chinks or any cracks in it, all of those things. For this specific time right now, so that you can help to anchor in and bring in the kingdom light upon the earth. And like they said, like they're saying, hold your light. You are the definition of a true influencer. Just by being, just by your soul's signature, you are that definition. I was laughing about this earlier. Just by your soul's signature, you're the definition of a true influencer. Influencing the world in a way that they don't want to be influenced. That's why they always, shifted you off to the side and never accepted in that. But congratulations that you've made it this far. And it's not just my congratulations, it's heaven's congratulating all of us for holding out through this heavy testings that we had been going through. It's another why question. Why did we have to go through all the sufferings, trials, tests? If our soul signature was already baseline good, like coming into this earth as that baseline of good, why did we have to go through all the trials and tribulations? Like, why, right? We've talked about this many times before, but another reason is for the recalibration. So you carried that baseline signature, the frequency, but it had to be recalibrated. It had to be dialed in. Because many things in the world, it muddles up and it distorts the image of your soul and the capacity to become that pure vessel, that carrier, that channel of the Father's Holy Spirit. Okay, so this looks like, like a mixer in a music studio, and they have all these tiny little knobs everywhere. You had to be finely tuned. So that was what all the trials, the tests, the tribulations, the, going through the fires and the clippings and the strippings and the waters and the light and all of those things. He's the Holy Spirit that searches all the innermost parts of the being. There's just so much truth coming in. It's beautiful. I can feel it. It's wonderful. It's like finally, the end of that old earth that you never jived with. But you had to be finely tuned to carry out what you are meant to carry out for the power of bringing in and being a holder. Just hold it. Just hold it. Holding the light of the new earth. Help to hold in that light. You see, the trials and tribulations, testings, was so that you would be refined as that pure vessel, so the light could be contained in you more. When you get rid of those impurities, those darknesses, those lies, stripping of those things, burning of those things, so that you can contain more of the light. That had to happen. So that you can carry more of the light, more percentage of that light, more of that scale of light. Because when the light will come, will blast, you will not be consumed by that light, because you'll already be calibrated to the light, and it will not just be such a shock of differentiation between darkness and light, that the light would consume the darkness. Because remember, darkness cannot contain the light, and it is destroyed. And you shall not be destroyed. Do you see how important your existence is here? Do you now see why you had to go through all those things? Why people treated you the way, whatever, all those things. How important it is, and what a celebration it is. And finally, we can celebrate in this, and what a great victory it is. And heaven exalting those who have been doing this work, who have been letting the fire consume the remnants of the thoughts and feelings of separation from the love of the Father, that ego, so that we would not act out through any of those thoughts or those feelings, but that we would live in the truth. Because on the way, what is the way? The way always shows you truth after truth after truth. Your soul's signature beams truth. So why did we have to go through this? So you could be recalibrated and finely tuned for your soul to give off its authentic signature and its authentic light. Why did we have to go through the trials and the sufferings and the testings? So you could be finely tuned. Your soul could be finely tuned, because that's what they were doing. They were finely tuning. They were dialing in to be a match of that light. So your soul could carry the light and be an instrument of the radiation of that light and help bring in the new earth age. Just like Christ was a sacrifice. It says that you would do everything he did. You are also going to be a sacrifice, but not that kind of sacrifice, a living sacrifice of what? Of love, of those frequencies, love, joy, peace, those mature states, long-suffering, patience, those character building traits, those endurance. You are a child of endurance. You are a child of endurance. So you could be authentically who you always are and not let anything of the world muddle that up. That's what the fires were for. That's what the strippings, the trials, and the tests, making sure, getting you to the point of readiness to be able to carry and hold the light. So you can be who you are and have always meant to be. The maturing in it, the maturity to carry it, the maturity to be a surrendered vessel of it, the maturity to walk in it without pride or arrogance, the maturity to not let pride consume you in that position, because there's no more ego. Ego has been stripped. It's not to break you. It wasn't to break you, but to get you to surrender and become a surrendered vessel without time or space. This is important. As long as the matrix, the world, it is run by time and space. But all of those trials, those fires, those tests, those waters, those lights that we had to go, the blasting of the light, that laser pinpoint precision to burn up the remnants of those things upon the soul and upon the heart, was to get you to become a surrendered vessel for the Father's glory and purpose in your life, because that was the purpose of why you were born at such a time as this. That's the covenant, that you would be a carrier a part of what is going to happen. So you can come out of time and space, to step out of time and space and enter into being. Because all those trials and tests, they take you out of time and space. They take you out of the matrix. The matrix is governed by time and space. That program needs time and space. And all those trials and tests and tribulations, it says rejoice in them, because they're taking you out of time and space. They're bringing you into being. They're bringing you into the state of perpetual surrender, of perpetual patience, because you were never meant to be a part of this world, but to stand out. We all know that. So you would gain your true, authentic signature frequency that is needed to come together with others like you to help take this world out of the darkness of that control and of that power. As long as you remain in time and space, you remain in the world. That's why the rejection, because you're a fish out of water. This analogy is very synchronicitous. The fish, the analogy of the fish. Whether this has something to do, I'm not going to say, I don't know, but you are like a fish out of water. Coming into this earth is like you as a fish out of water. Why was the fish the symbol? Why did Jesus say, you become fishers of men? Jesus will keep giving you fish until you become a fisherman. Darkness needs to be cast off in order to carry glory, to be glorified in Him and to carry His glory. Impurities need to be burned so He can glorify you. That is to say, put His glory into you. So, the analogy that you are like a fish out of water, that you can't fit in because you were never meant to fit in, but you were meant to become authentically fishy. So authentically fishy. Not carrying anything of the world that would be out or masking or putting on top of or changing or trying to fit in or anything that is not fishy. So it's getting you to the place where you become so authentically fishy that you can bring in the new fish age. Coincidentally, the age of Aquarius. There's something very funny about all these fish analogies. There is a truth in this. That's why the test after test after test, every time there was a test, your soul got a shift, another fine-tunement, so you could become who you already authentically are, but become very authentic to it. Not having anything of the world anymore. Even, rubbing off, the world rubs off on us and kind of act like the wrong people hang rubbed off. That's why you be careful who your company is and all of that, because they're taking you out of your authentic fishiness.
Storms may come, but I'll stand strong. With faith and love, He writes my song.